And I heard a bunch of poets there, which is always fun for me. And amongst them was a poet that just made me laugh and made me think really hard and made me wonder about what all is possible in this genre we call poetry. And I did manage to get him to come right off the bat to this festival. And then a couple of years later, he was traveling in Canada again. So I managed to work out an exhibit of his very beautiful visual poems. You might remember those. And this year he's back in Canada, and I'm very glad to have him at the microphone again. He's a British-born poet with Hungarian roots and a Portuguese passport. Please welcome John Havelda.
It's great to be back in Winnipeg, and thank you, Charlene and the team, for putting together this terrific festival. It's always such a pleasure. I'd like to begin with an epigraph. That's from the American poet Jack Spicer. The poet likes to think he's a pitcher, but really he's a catcher. Two short poem film scripts to begin with. Feature-length poem. A man walks into a cinema. He sits down next to himself and asks himself for a light. He lights his cigarette himself. He's come to see a film about himself in which he has a bit part. Carnal outsider. Lights come up in a cinema. All alone, a couple get up to leave. He sulks at the film's obscurity. A week passes. Lights come up in a theatre. All alone, the same couple get up to leave. He is straining to control his anger at the impenetrability of the play. A week passes. In the dark, a bed creaks irregularly. A bedside lamp is switched on. The man, wild with anger, whispers through his bared teeth, "What the Christ is that supposed to mean?" I'd like to read my new book, which is this box, and I've been very fortunate to work with the Canadian poet that many of you, I'm sure, know, Fred Waugh, who was here before last year, wasn't it, Charlie? Right. And so I've been very fortunate to become friends with Fred, and we've worked on a number of projects. And this is one of them, and this was published about a week ago. So it's a deck of cards, and on the front is a paired portrait of boys in draw pools. And on the back are very short texts. And Fred and I were thinking about institutional constraints, the ways in which institutions put people into drawers. And also we were thinking about in-betweenness and pairing. So this book can be read in the arbitrary order that you find it, or if you so desire, you can rewrite it by cutting it or shuffling it to any other arbitrary order. This is not a message. M-O-O-M, home. Not one or two emotions, but the whole gamut. Enantioseme. Neither I know him nor does he. Bridge to the bridge. The ever-intrusive adjective. Unlike Jeff teaches Fred. Head boy. Clean and ablative. Au revoir. Wary possums broach whimsy. Avoid expressions huge and strange. De fe fat dar. Fainally. Prophet motive. Udvariatlon avariado. Atypism. Dig, veed, dig it, weed, dogged word. Briar my joy, fanboys, eat at the heart table. A fine sight now with the bright twins, Ext, E tempus, and the fist period, hencelet. What does that mean, contain? I'll contain you, young man. Whenever the following truth, next to complete thoughts, hence the A. Common noun, os, several P's, Q. Larking about, it ain't. The contemptible philosophy of duty shirking. Ubu buys Enola Gay. Boy and yob and boy. Pronoun anti-adjective. Perfect prefect. Deprivals. In detention. I Sylvia so. Canvas gist grist jig. Verb sink tapping. Occor porost. Conjunction junction. Leave no stone turned. Abomination miscegenate. More truth immediately, then tables. The smell of here-ness and the aftertaste. Make sure you understand instead. Forget the. To make the internal eternal. And what charm there is in the pluperfect subjunctive. I can't contain yourself. Number one rule before the sentence, no tea, but. Jew, papist. Duplicity. Warp aging. Behave yet. Sick note within. Unidance. Enthi me. Just enough rope. I the raw. Duodene. Me as soon as you. Finally the conjunction. Sing, 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 sing. I want to do it suddenly if I don't have money. Reflect, reflex. Meanwhile, 5 lectures on the branch. A dress or a store. What if any? Homeless, my love's embodiment. Kingdom went. Webbed feet so swimmingly. Ent instead of ain't. 2 signs and a slow squirrel. After this, you. I know a letter represents a statement. Un navegant et un trabalhador. But appears at the start. They're both for China. If you follow besides, return the list because bearded fry, topos mantling arbum the rosebush, everlasting sentences ended. Keeping fit the ear, a paw poise, a throat, fecate, hand in hand and in.